Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Okay, so again, this is a video that's been seen by everybody. So the crazy thing about this whole story, MC, is that yeah, you shouldn't be sleeping with the help, and it's the head of HR. What I don't understand is how is this woman not catching any smoke? This woman right here, she got a promotion, which was all three of them, I believe. It wasn't like they said it was like a company outing, but it was only three people though, from what I've read. So she got a promotion, and so they said they were celebrating or doing something with her, is the story. But the crazy thing is she knew what was going on. She knew both these people were married, and she still went along with it. And so I understand you probably can't say anything, but are you going to be going in public spaces with these people? Because I think that should be the bigger conversation, though, that the people that your significant other is working with, they're condoning the cheating, or at least hiding it from you.
So there's so much to unpack here, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it really bothered me that the CEO, I think his name was Andy Byron, he got a whole lot of smoke.
Yeah, he caught the smoke.
But the HR lady who's also in there got zero smoke. Like that's how the public works, though. If a woman does something like this, for some reason it's empowering. But if a man does it, he's a cheater and he's no good. I didn't get that. This is Bag Fumble of the Year, TR. Astronomer.
Oh yeah, put him on there. Yeah, he going on the list.
Oh, this is number one by far. This company was just valuated at $1.3 billion. So this ain't no small company. I'm sure he's going to make out fine, because generally what happens, and I'm going to get to a story that relates to this a little bit later in my own life, but he probably owns a significant amount of stock, and he's going to retain that stock, and they're probably going to just let him go, and it's going to be like a quiet fade out. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to go. I wouldn't be surprised if he's already gone. But
yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
And they're doing PR damage, because HR is supposed to be your place of ethics in the workplace. But time and time again, I've seen so many examples to let y'all know that that's just the opposite. I get HR wants to tell you that they're there for you as an employee, but just be mindful that that's the secondary focus of HR. The primary focus is to protect the company that they are the head of HR for. So never forget that. If things like this are more common than you think at the executive level, and I know that for a fact, and I'll get to that later.
Absolutely. So I'm glad you pointed out the PR damage, because they actually put out a statement. So again, the CEO, he's resigned. As for the woman, we don't know anything. We don't care anything. But ninjas, we care about the guy getting whatever. Let me share the updated PR video from the Astronomer group.
Thank you for your
And again, this is an actual video that they posted.
interest in Astronomer. Hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. I've been hired on a very temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300 plus employees at Astronomer. Astronomer has gotten a lot of questions over the last few days, and they wanted me to answer the most common ones. Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow, unifying the experience of running data, ML, and AI pipelines at scale. We've been thrilled so many people have a newfound interest in data workflow automation. As for the other questions we've received, yes, there is still room available at our Beyond Analytics event in September. We will now be returning to what we do best, delivering game-changing results for our customers. Thank you for your interest in Astronomer.
Man, you cannot tell me that was such a boss move what they did. And they got Gwyneth Paltrow to do the have the conversation, deliver that message. Like, I don't know Astronomer was just being dragged, and they were like, man, we messed up so bad we had to go get Pepper Potts to kind of bail us out.
Pepper Potts. Man, that video was so much, but that was the biggest failure of a misdirect that I've ever seen. Get
Hey,
to the elephant in the room. You know what we came here for. Don't sit here and tell me all this stuff. I can go Google all that stuff.
right.
Tell me you had a massive example of corruption at the top executive branch of your
Sure.
business. How are you handling that? How are you going to fix that? Honestly, TR, it doesn't matter though, because like I said, this happens all the time. And this is where I want to jump into a real quick story. I work for a company where the head of sales,
Hmm.
because he was pissed off and petty, because I mitigate risk for a living, and so does my team. He was pissed off that some of the stuff that we were declining and pushing away, that he started colluding with the competitor and sending business over there, and took in some ownership of the competitive company while he was still working for the company that we all worked for.
Yeah.
Why am I telling you all this? Because he's an executive. He's the head of sales. What type of punishment do you think he got? They got him up out of there, but he got to keep all of his stock. He immediately cashed out his stock the next day and walked away with $9 million cold hard cash.
Yeah.
Cashed it all out. It's a cold game at the executive level, man. Kevin Samuels
Yo,
talked
MC, you
about
still
this.
there?
Yeah, I'm still here. All right, y'all. That's what happens when you're not technologically savvy. That was my fault, y'all. But let me wrap up this story real quick. So the head of sales at a previous role that I had, he basically colluded with competitors and sent them some business while taking over some of the ownership of the competing company. So he's working for one company while having ownership in a direct competitor. Huge conflict of interest. Long story short, his punishment was he was let go. He got to keep all of his stock. He cashed him out the next day, walked away with like $9 million. And that is executive justice. It just works differently.
Yeah, the funny thing about that is how a lot of people see there's an issue, there's a problem here, but people do not go the next level and like want to like push for change because we see a lot of like politicians doing the same thing. And people are like, well, as long as we get them removed, then that's justice. I'm like, that's not justice. Like it's the weirdest thing because we know this happens a lot, especially where you have this astronomer CEO. Clearly, he was, with somebody else's wife, and the woman, she's with somebody else's husband, and we haven't heard too much from the husband that was being cheated on. We haven't heard from much from his camp yet. So it makes me kind of wonder if they, I mean, I'm not saying they did, but it does sound like they may have had like maybe a different type of relationship, an open relationship though. But I still, it's still kind of weird to me. Like, why hasn't, I mean, I'm not saying he needs to crash out though, but usually you see some type of reaction. And but these people, they carried it. I mean, being embarrassed on the national stage, they carried it very nicely. So I mean, I would never want to be in their situation. The people that were cheated on, I'd never want to be in their situation though. But they're keeping it quiet though. So maybe that's advice from their attorneys too.
Yeah, here's the other part about this. Y'all internet people are savage as hell. So Andy Byron, they went and looked up his wife, and essentially just blasted
It's
her
family.
pages with messages, just interfering with family stuff, right? She's obviously dealing with some stuff. I did a quick search of her name. I don't want to share her name because she's been a lot of people have been trying to hit her up. But the very first IG account that popped up under her name, it says, "I am not the CEO's wife. Y'all harassing the wrong person." So that
Yeah.
tells me that a bunch of people with nothing better to do are jumping in somebody else's marriage. Let her figure out how she wants to move with that. Leave that lady alone. She got enough to deal with. Here's another thing, TR.
Mhm.
We heterosexual men up in this piece. It seems like your boy kind of downgraded a little bit, didn't he?
Man, I'll tell you this much though. For look, if I just feel, I mean, they're both wrong, okay? But if you're gonna like look, if you feel like stepping out in your marriage, I feel I shouldn't say I feel. I was thinking it was gonna be a bad chick, and he just got this, pass through soggy Karen, and I'm like, and you mess with the cop in the building, like of all the people you could have messed with, you got the cop, and you thought this was like all, you got the clearance, this is the way to go. That's just wild to me though, because we've seen people in this situation though, and it's like, okay, I see why I can understand why they went the route that they went. But this guy, man, this was silly. I mean, he should got with the friend. she was better looking than her.
Yeah, and
Respectfully.
I acknowledge that I'm just looking at this from a physical standpoint. Here's the thing that people don't talk about when it comes to cheating. Clearly, it's wrong, right?
Mhm.
But there's generally an underlying root cause that's driving it. Now, maybe it's something on his side. Maybe it's something on her side. We don't know. Maybe she's providing something that he ain't getting at home.
Man,
Now,
look,
if that's the case, I know you like to group me with the marriage bros. If you're not speaking up at home, if you're not getting something, you ain't speaking up.
MC,
That's kind of your fault.
look, MC, I get what you're saying. I understand that to an extent. She, the cop, the HR chick, she don't look like she be like doing the Guck 3000. Like she doesn't look like she be doing that. She doesn't look like she doing all the tricks. She doing all the splits. She just doesn't look. And look, I have known some women that, looks say one thing, bedroom says another thing. I'm just saying he should got with a friend, respectfully.
And I'm just saying that third person in that picture also works in human resources. So now
Oh
you got to
yeah,
look at your whole entire HR staff and figure out who's ethical and who's not because they're
look,
supposed to be the ethics of the company.
you know what? Matter of fact, I'm glad you pointed this out though, because this is the other thing too. Men, we already know that. I mean, most of the time, your significant other, and this can go either way too. But we're just going to focus on what, from the men's perspective to the women. If your wife is working at another working at some other company that you're not, working with her, and everybody's like, I don't want to work with my wife, blah blah blah. Fine, I get it. Everyone does this. It's the American way. This is a thing. Your wife is constantly getting D opportunities from other men, and she might not do it the first month, first year, second year, third year. But hey, I have been on enough company parties to see some inhibitions adjust a little bit once that alcohol start flowing. So I've seen some people do some wild things. I haven't been part of it though, but I'm like, I saw something happen, and those are things you have to like take to the grave. But again, it's like, wow, this is. I mean, look, I can never trust my girl working in a corporate environment. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If there's alcohol and men around, it only takes one drink for your chick to be like, "Hey, we're going to do something different today," and they be married. And most of the time they're married. Actually, most of the time they are married, and the women know that they're married. That's the crazy thing. They know that they're married. So this isn't the shit on men or women. It's just, look, you work in the corporate world, those are some of the things that will happen. Not if, they will.
Actually, glad you said that, TR. I just posted this. I like to look at studies and stats. What percentage of men and women do you think have work spouses?
Oh, they are. It's got to be a high percentage, maybe like over 90.
So in the UK, it's up to 70%. In the United States, it's 50 to 60%.
Oh, that number's that. How old is that study?
That's according to Fortune.
Yeah,
That's October 2024 is when they posted this article.
yeah,
So again, these people go to work, they form these tight bonds and these relationships with folks, and you got to be wary if they got a work spouse. It happens more
yeah,
often than we would like to admit.
yeah. It's unfortunate though, because a lot of people don't realize. Well, sorry, hold on. There we go. I forgot to put the banner up there. But a lot of people don't realize that your significant other is probably going to be some form of cheating, and those work spouses, those work husbands, and then they do those what are those Secret Santa things? Like any type of
Oh yeah.
interaction, those are the things that are going to get you. That gets a lot of couples in trouble, though. So people got to start realizing you can't be interacting with your colleagues, especially happy hours. Like that's where people really start letting things fly. So unfortunately, I mean, I understand people. You got to work. So most people work in some type of We work in corporate environments, though, but still, you got to be a little more, aware of like who's like, hey, why are you friends with your colleagues on social media? Like, let me check those DMs.
Yeah, most people don't even rock with their coworkers on their social medias like that.
That's a
And
good point.
it's
Yeah,
always been odd to me. when you mix work and personal. But you go to these happy hours, you're out drinking, you got these work trips. You
Yeah.
just, you never, I cannot tell you, TR, how many times I've seen people sneaking out of rooms that they didn't need to be in. It
Yep.
happens a lot. It is hilarious. Now,
Yep.
a lot of y'all probably thinking, all right, you know all this stuff what you out here doing. My coworkers will tell you, I go get a drink, I go to my room, I go to sleep. Because I am not trying to put myself in a situation I don't need to be in. And I
Facts.
know a lot of people that operate like that. Unfortunately, it ain't everybody.
Yeah. I'll tell you this
I don't
much
even talk about
though.
my personal life. A lot of my coworkers will tell me they don't know anything about me.
Yeah, keep it like that. I tell you one last
Yeah.
thing with this is, so we both know the lead attorney, and well, we know him from his YouTube channel though. He's told many stories where he's went to and he had just go to his channel and he's had these conversations. So I'm not like just saying things, but he said, hey, look, if your chick is coming to those lawyer conferences, there's a good chance she's getting throttled. Like they come there, it's just like yeah, I mean, don't we you ask your chick if she's been to those conferences, and well, she probably won't tell you the truth though, but they said they slamming them. So just food for thought there.
Here's the other thing. We're not talking about how goofy this is. Who takes a side chick to a concert in the public with
That's
hundreds
true.
of thousands of people? Who does that?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Goofy
just
stuff.
that's just terrible. There's a lot of things wrong with it though, but he resigned, so it's like you fumbled the bag. I'd be curious if he gets another job down the road. Actually, I know he's gonna get another job.
Oh yeah.
Look, you can't. I mean, you don't care about his personal life. Can you get the company to the next level? That's what they
That's
care
it.
about. So
Are you gonna get these results and are you gonna not bring any drama to work? That's all it comes down to. She resigned too, by the way. And she will
oh, she
also
did.
man on
Okay,
her feet. Yeah.
yeah. Well, good. She should resign. So, all right. We're gonna jump to